NC Tractor to do business or the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the risk.
Good morning. A bright and breezy start to your Tuesday with wind chills in the teens to kick off the day, but we warm up into the low to mid 40s under sunny skies this afternoon. Still pretty chilly today and tonight. Tonight's forecast partly cloudy with lows in the mid 20s. Tomorrow partly sunny, high temperatures in the upper 40s to lower 50s. A chance for rain returns with our next weather system tomorrow night. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell in the Weather Center.
Well, boys and girls, moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas, they still have snow in the forecast for Thursday night and Friday. Now, how much of that is going to happen, we don't know yet, but it is there in black and white. Rain, chance of rain and snow, lows around 23. And then Friday morning, a chance of snow showers. So, and Friday night, snow showers. So we'll see what happens. Right now, we're starting our Tuesday off with 19 degrees and warming up to about 46 degrees and some breezy conditions today. But we're glad we can have some weather, aren't we? Well, I have these death announcements this morning. Patricia Marcos, 80, died Friday at Brookdale for a facility in Forest City. Those arrangements are incomplete and will be announced later. Again, that's Patricia Marcos. Annette Burnett, 80, of Rutherford, died Thursday at Willow Ridge Nursing Facility. There will be a viewing 10 to 12 p.m. on Wednesday, January the 19th, in the Chapel of Ulysses D. Miller Funeral Services. Graveside service will follow at St. Gabriel Episcopal Church Cemetery. Guidelines, CDC guidelines are required. Annette Burnett is the one we're paying our respect to. Larry Eugene Bradley, age 60, passed away January 16th at his home after a sudden illness. A memorial service directed by the family will be held 6:30 Thursday, January 20th at Fellowship Holiness Church in Spindale. The family will receive friends from 5 until 6:30 prior to the service. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Larry Eugene Bradley. Dorothy Noblet, age 86, of Columbus, passed away Saturday, January the 15th at Upstate Community Hospice House in Landrum. Arrangements are incomplete at this time, and it will be announced later in the week. And McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Service is serving the family of Dorothy Noblet. Reverend Wesley Hudgens, age 87, of Rutherford, died Saturday, January the 15th at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. The family will receive friends 2 until 3 Wednesday, January the 19th at Spindale Fellowship Holiness Church. The funeral service will be at 3 o'clock Wednesday, January the 19th at Spindale Fellowship Holiness Church. Burial will follow at Spindale Fellowship Holiness Church Cemetery. Mike Mann's Funeral Home and Cremation Service is in charge of the arrangements for Reverend Wesley Hudgens. Wesley had a program here on Sunday mornings for about 50 years. He started out as the station started about 50-something years ago, and was on every Sunday until he became ill. Reverend Robert H. Bradley, age 77, of the Hicks Grove community, died Thursday, January the 13th at his residence. The funeral service will be conducted at 2 o'clock Thursday, January 20th at First Broad Baptist Church. A private burial will take place at the Bradley Family Cemetery after the service. The family will receive friends from 6 until 8 p.m. Wednesday at Harrelson Funeral Home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Service has been entrusted with the arrangements for Reverend Robert H. Bradley. Myrtle Coon Paget died Wednesday, January the 12th. Obituaries and service still not arranged. We still don't have information on that one, but Mike Mann's Funeral Home in charge of the arrangements for Myrtle Coon Paget. And those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others as they become available to us, can be heard this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report here on the Most Information from the Foothills, 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB in Rutherford. And we're glad you've joined us. We'll keep you posted on cancellations. The Rutherford County Transit will not operate today. Senior Citizen Center closed today. And the school system's working on remote learning day for all students due to the inclement weather. And let's see, I believe the Senior Center closed. I mentioned that one. Isothermal Community College classes are closed today as well.
here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Investors, are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer steady monthly payouts plus double-digit annualized returns. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy, 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
On this Tuesday, the giant moving company, United Van Lines, reports that customers are fleeing 5 states most of all. Can you guess which ones? Hint, all are run by progressives. And here they are. Connecticut. Now, Connecticut is dependent on New York City for its economic well-being. The rest of the state is fairly rural. Hartford is the capital, and Hartford is a disaster. The taxation in Connecticut is very high for workers, and the benefits for those workers, because they get double hammered going into New York City, are few. Illinois, a disaster almost everywhere. You know about violence in Chicago. You know about J.B. Pritzker, the worst governor in the country. You know about high taxation and strangulation by regulation. That rhymes. So people are bailing out of Illinois. New York, a catastrophe in New York City. Crime is insane there. Taxes the highest in the union. People in New York are going to Florida, big time. California, same thing. San Francisco is unlivable. Crime surging. Taxation out of control. And the state that most people are fleeing, New Jersey. Again, dependent on New York with all the social problems. Now this. If you are stuck in a timeshare, please call my friends at Lone Star Transfer. They guarantee to get you out with a specified time frame given to you in writing. They have helped thousands of unhappy timeshare owners over the past decade. Family owned, their process is done legally, ethically, and quickly. So please call for a no-obligation consultation. 855-551-7066 or visit LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
WCAB, the music's on us.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Pass it on.
This time of upheaval is causing me to look a little deeper inside myself, looking for some goodness. And this is what I've found. I'm more aware of my neighbor's well-being. I'm saying thanks to those who help keep my life as normal as possible. My mail carrier, my grocery cashier, my delivery person. I find myself caring about others instead of just looking out for myself. And oh, my goodness, does it feel good. Goodness is in you.
Pass it on.
From passiton.com.
On January 19, 1896, Butch Cassidy was released from the Wyoming State Prison. While in prison, he had heard about a place about 50 miles south of Buffalo, Wyoming, where a number of outlaws hung out. At one time, it had been a prehistoric lake. Over a period of time, water had washed away one end of the lake, creating a deep gorge. Sheer cliffs surrounded the valley. Fed by streams, it was always grassy, and the tall cliffs kept the strong winds on the outside. The only entrance was the gorge, or the hole in the wall. For about 15 years, it had been a place where outlaws on the run would go. There was no hard and fast gangs. Someone would come up with a plan to rob a train or a bank, assemble some men, and then carry out the job. When Butch Cassidy arrived, Harvey Logan, also known as Kid Curry, was the unofficial leader of the Hole in the Wall. Although the two men were a contrast in personalities, Butch and Kid Curry hit it off. This was also where Butch met the man who would become his closest friend, the Sundance Kid. Incidentally, it was Kid Curry, not the Sundance Kid, who shared the leadership of Butch Cassidy's gang. The Hole in the Wall was the home to 3 major gangs: the Butch Cassidy Gang, also known as the Wild Bunch, Blackjack Ketchum Gang, and Lightning Sam Carey's gang. There were more than 100 men there at any time, with a number of women, shacks for homes, and a saloon. One could almost call it a combination vacation spot and employment agency for outlaws. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James Railroad Express has added 2 new sandwiches to their menu. Try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. And now, the new beer-battered fish sandwich. All come with sides. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only, hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Congresswoman Virginia Foxx will be calling in this morning about 8:30, talking with us for a few minutes about things that are going on up in Washington that she's a part of. So be sure to tune in at 8:30 this morning for the Congresswoman Virginia Foxx. Right now we're going to the phones, and we have Sheriff Chris Francis on the phone to give us an update on what's been happening in his world. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jim Bishop. Good to hear your voice, sir.
Well, it's good to be on here on this snowy Tuesday morning. There for a while yesterday. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, but I did. And this morning I got help, so it's going to flow a little smoother today, I hope.
That sounds good. It really does. It's been unbelievable weather in the last 48 hours. We just want to keep everybody safe.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen this Thursday and Friday, but it looks like we may get some more, but maybe not as intense as this one was. We'll see. Tell us what's been going on.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 106 calls for service. There have been 2 arrests processed at the county jail, known by the Sheriff's Office, however, and we had 153 currently incarcerated in jail. Among our incident reports, we had a larceny of motor vehicle parts on Oakland Road in Forest City. There was a catalytic converter that was taken off of a truck and it was valued at $1,000. We had a missing person, Golden Valley Church Road. She has since been recovered and located. We had a breaking and entering and larceny on Piney Mountain Church Road in Ellenborough. Someone broke into a residence and took a Samsung washer and dryer set, about $800, and a stainless steel Samsung refrigerator and stove combined valued over $1,250. And this has been last seen since early January, not during our snowstorm. So this did occur before that. And we also had a missing person reported from College Avenue, but she also has since been heard from and been taken out of NCIC. And Jim, that's what I had to report in the last 24 hours.
All right, Sheriff, I'm glad things have not been extremely bad enough to have any calls, but it's not as bad. Maybe the snow sort of slowed things down, huh?
It did everything except for the wrecks. As I look at the motor vehicle crashes that the town police departments took care of and Highway Patrol yesterday, I just recommend everybody to stay off the roads as long as they can today. We may have some melting later in the early afternoon, but just a reminder that Rutherford County Sheriff's Office is closed today, administrative offices, as well as all other county offices, the convenience centers, landfill, transit will be closed, senior center will be closed. Pretty much all the county offices will be closed. Obviously, we'll 911 dispatch is always working. Sheriff's office is always responding to calls. Those things are happening, but otherwise, offices are closed today.
Sure, thank you very much. You be safe out there. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford-ton.
And we're checking in with 911 Communication Center. And Kylie's on the phone to give us that update from the calls they've received in the past 24 hours. Kylie, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Tell us what's on the list.
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 362 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 46 for EMS, 102 for the Sheriff's Office, 25 for Forest City, 2 for Lake Lure, 16 for Rutherfordton, 13 for Spindale. Cliffside responded to a fire alarm. Forest City responded to a fire alarm, and that's all we've had.
Thanks, Kylie. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye. Well, the tax season is certainly here, and you want somebody you can depend on and trust is going to be with you all the way through. Should it ever be in a problem, IE can be there for you. Nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled A-R-Y-E-E. Now at 22 past 7, here's Ruby Taylor from Danieltown, SDO Fire District, reporting for us. Ruby, I've got good news for you. Looks like we may get some more snow this weekend.
Well, I tell you, you can have it all.
I know how much you dislike that stuff. I thought I'd rib you a little bit this morning.
No, I don't. It's whatever the Lord sends us we have to take. I don't like it, but I can stay in the house.
Yeah, well, that's a good attitude. Whatever the Lord sends, we'll accept it, right?
That's right.
What's on the report over there today?
Well, the fire department didn't have any calls. And on my birthday counter, I've got Katie Jones, John Taylor, Nick Melton, and Robert Kite having birthdays today, and hope they have a nice day. And the sun's in the heart today and tomorrow. And that's all I got.
Well, you enjoy your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherford.
Now let's check in up at Fairfield Mountains Fire District, and Gary Wilson's up and at 'em and on the phone this morning to give us a report. Hi, Gary.
Hey, Jim. How you doing?
Doing good. I was just thinking, I see my neighbor across the road. It's good to have neighbors like George over here, Farmer's Friend. He came over yesterday and scraped my driveway and helped me dig my car out of being stuck halfway out in the road and halfway in the driveway and half in the road. He came over to help me yesterday morning. So it's good to have good neighbors like that, isn't it?
It is. It is good to have them around. I've got a lot of people around there like that to go around cleaning up people's driveways for them where they can get in and out and get them to do that. But we're about 25 degrees this morning and had 2 calls yesterday. I had one for motorist got turned around on top of the hill above fire department in the snow. Well, we got him down. And I had another medical call for just assisting EMS loading the patient. Bill Creek had 1 call they ran yesterday, and they were out on one early this morning. So it's fairly active, but could have been a lot worse. So far, so good on any wrecks or anything like that, or power outages. We managed to keep the power and hope we can continue to do so.
Yeah, let's hope so.
And, wind got up a little bit yesterday, and I was kind of concerned about that for a while, but it died down during the night, and everything's pretty peaceful right now. We can just keep it that way.
Yep. It's going to be kind of breezy. Light wind today, not near as bad as yesterday, but looks like by Wednesday the gusting is going to pick back up again. We should have a pretty pleasant day here in the neighborhood today.
Yeah, it'll be around 50, tomorrow, I believe it said?
I believe that's right, yeah.
45 today, so that's not bad. I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And hopefully this other storm we're talking about won't materialize. And if it does, there won't be much to it, I hope. But we'll have to wait and see.
We'll see what happens.
That's about all we got.
All right, Gary. Thanks so much. You enjoy your day and go back to bed now. And we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. We'll see you then.
All right. Bye-bye.
Jim, have you seen Henson Building Materials' newly remodeled showroom? It's gorgeous.
You mean where they have a full line of hardware and building materials for homeowners and home builders?
I mean where Jamie, Terry, and Tony, their friendly staff, treat me like family. Oh, they're so nice.
Hey, are they taking COVID precautions and have curbside service?
Of course. They're so thoughtful.
I do need some materials, but I don't think they'll fit in our car.
Oh, silly. They have professional delivery so we can get whatever I want.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street in Forest City.
Building starts here.
If you have a cancellation today at your place, please call us. We'll be glad to put that on for you. Let everybody know that. ICC classes have been canceled for today. The Senior Center closed today. The Rutherford County Transit will not be operating today. And the COVID testing drive-through testing has been canceled for today. And, of course, the courthouse and the clerk's office and all the county office buildings are closed. And Rutherford County Schools will observe a remote learning day for all students at all grade levels and an optional teacher work day for school system employees today. So those are the ones that we have received so far. So if you have a cancellation you want to announce, please call Tracy. We'll put that on for you. Here now is DeVern reporting to us from Bostic, North Carolina. Good morning, DeVern.
Good morning. How are you on this cold morning?
Oh, I'm fine and dandy. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, over here in Baltic, it's 18 degrees, very cold. Still got some icy roads. The fire department has been blessed. They've had no calls. They did have a meeting last night and discussed different things. We want to give a shout-out to Chad Medford. Yesterday was his birthday, and I didn't get to tell him happy birthday, so we want to tell him today. Hope he had a good one. And everybody stay in if they don't have to get out and stay safe.
I know several people would like to give a shout-out to Chad Medford, but it wouldn't be birthday wishes. They want to just shout out at him or something else.
Just shout out at him.
Yeah.
Maybe real loud.
DeVern, I hope you have a great day over there.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That's Bostic reporting in nice and quiet this morning. It's 28 minutes now past 7 o'clock, and we'll check in with the next caller in just a moment.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
All right, we're going over to our next phone call now, 29 past 7. And it's Bob Hodge over in the Hudlow Fire District this morning. Bob, good morning to you. How are you?
We're doing just fine up here. A little chilly around the edges this morning.
Yeah, around the edges and right down the middle, too.
Oh, I tell you, it's icy out there this morning. But
You don't you don't have to get out in, do you, today?
No, I'm not getting out right now.
Good.
I'm gonna wait till a little more melts up a little bit there.
Good for you.
Yeah, but people has to get out. I guess better be careful, 'cause main roads might be a little better, but some of the side roads are still icy this morning, I guess.
Yes, they are. A lot of parking lots still not been fully scraped either, so that's dangerous when folks think they got it made, and then all of a sudden they step in a parking lot and it's icy and they fall down. And it's these businesses that are calling today off. I think it's wise to do that.
That's true, because if like you say, if you get there in your car and you get out, you'll liable to step on some ice and fall down there, 'cause it's easy to do. So if you have to get out, you better be careful. But if you don't, stay at home and watch it till it melts a little more there.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, Jim, up here with the fire department, thanks a couple of medical calls. Hadn't had anything bad happen so far. That's good, and that's about it. So you take care, and you be careful over there today getting out.
All right, Bob. Thank you very much, and you watch it thaw out, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bob Hodge reporting out of the Hudlow Fire District, one of the busy fire districts in our community, and we're glad to have Bob on with us for a number of years now. We appreciate him very much. It's 7:31, and we'll get to our next phone call here in just a moment.
In Leading Purpose, we recognize that some of our local businesses have struggled the last 2 years trying to make sure the dream they built for their company is not damaged. So many factors have been involved in keeping you from doing what you intended to do as a business owner and what you want to do, both for your employees and your community. Leading Purpose is a local small business that wants to walk with you on your journey to achieving greater abundance.
You're going to be hearing more and more about this fine company. It might need something for you to talk about, so look them up and see what's happening with Leading Consultant. And we now going over to the Cherry Mountain. I'm about to be where it was. Cherry Mountain Fire District. And Sue Price, good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
It's easy to get confused on a traffic day like this. Everything looks white out there. Looks like you go in the same direction.
Oh, no, it's cold, isn't it? Cold day, too. But, it's been a pretty snow, and I just hope people will be safe this morning. I know it's icy in places, so give yourself plenty of time if you have to get out. Well, let's see. I didn't have any calls from the fire department, so I reckon they've been quiet, and that's a good thing. Don't have any birthdays on my church calendar or my personal calendar. Fairview's got a birthday for Joe Kimler, so I hope he'll have a good day today. And I still don't have First Broad's calendar for this month, so not too many celebrating that I know of, but we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And so far I don't have any announcements that I know of. I know a lot of things are canceled for today, so just stay in and stay safe if you can.
That's good advice.
Yeah. And I hope you'll have a good day, Jim.
Thanks, Sue. You enjoy your day as well, and I will see you back here on Wednesday.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
7:34, we're going to try to see if we make contact with our good friends at the Drop-In Family Mart there in Boston, see if they're open. I'm sure they are, but I think they are, and we'll see what kind of schedule they've got going for this, and if they're cooking breakfast this morning. So Tracy's going to try to call them and see if we can get in touch with somebody over there at the Drop-In Family Mart and see if we can cook breakfast with them this morning.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a strategy that's right for you.
And Enter will be here in the Blue Room this morning. I think he'll make it in, and we'll talk a little bit about some more things on his mind about financial security and how you can make your dollars work better for you. Unable to reach anybody at the Family Drop-In, Family Mart there in Boston. Don't know if they're open this morning or not. Don't know how they're set for that. But you might call before you go. But if they're open, they'll certainly be glad to fix you a hot breakfast because they do a fantastic job and serve a lot of people breakfast every morning and lunch with chicken and then the pizza over there. But call them before you go to make sure they're open. I'm just not sure their schedule. Some businesses are still closed from the snow and ice, so we can't reach anybody on the phone. So it could be that they have not yet opened this morning, but be safe. Give them a call before you go and check them out. We'll get back with them as soon as they're back there and talk more about the breakfast. But they always have a superb job doing breakfast. And when you can get in over there, buy your groceries, and shop local. It's always important to shop local when you buy your groceries. And money stays right here in Rutherford County. It doesn't go to some far and away places, Asheville and places like that. But shop at Drop-In Family Mart, and you'll enjoy that better. And we'll check with them later and see if they'll be ready for us to talk on Thursday. So we're going up to Shingle Holler. As they say down home, Shingle Holler. Go up to Shingle Holler and talk with Tina this morning. Tina, how you doing?
I'm okay, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
It is a pretty morning up here in Shingle Holler. Beautiful white blanket of snow, and I just think it's so pretty, and watching the birds and the sunrise.
Yeah.
So it is 23 degrees here on the front porch. The fire department they didn't have any calls, but they've been busy out watching the roads, monitoring those, and helping anybody that might need a little help. Birthdays today, we have a birthday on Pleasant Grove's calendar for Miss Martha Barnwell, and Kendra Turner on Pilgrim Way's calendar. So I hope these ladies have a wonderful birthday. Stay safe out there in the snow. And that's all I've got going on as I know of. Besides this cough, it seems like I cannot get rid of it.
Well, a lot of people are having that same thing. I don't know. I have that myself. Mine's allergies, I think, more than anything else. But I don't know what to do. Just go back to bed, I guess.
I don't like to go back to bed, but sometimes I have to.
Yeah. How's your foot doing?
My foot's doing well. I didn't go to therapy, of course, yesterday because of the snow, but hopefully I'll get new orthotics Thursday. So hope the roads will be good and clear and the doctor's offices will be open. I think they will be.
Hard to keep a good woman down here.
Oh, sometimes it feels like it's easy.
Well, listen, you have a great day, and thanks for reporting, and we'll talk again tomorrow morning.
Okay. Everybody stay safe, and God bless you.
Thanks, Tina. That's Shingle Hollow reporting in this morning. Nice and quiet up there. Everybody seems to be quiet in the cold and the ice. It's 7:38, and we'll check in up in Union Mills next.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
All right, you get Tracy and Brenda on the phone together. I tell you, it's hard to get them off, and they just talk about everything in the world. Good morning. Good morning, Brenda. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you on this cold Tuesday morning?
Well, a lot better today than I was yesterday.
Well, that's good. It's always good to be better, ain't it?
Every day's better, right?
That's right. We still got a lot of this snow laying around, though, ain't we?
We do. Yeah, it melted some, but not much.
What's that old saying? If it lays around for 3 days, it's waiting on another one.
Watch your mouth there now. Watch your mouth.
So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, this is the second day.
Yep.
Tomorrow will be third day.
Yeah, and snow's coming back on Thursday night.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what it looks like right now.
Well, it is what it is. We can't change it, but
I don't know where that...
I get worried about little man not being able to get out to go to work. And
yeah.
He got the car out yesterday down at the foot of the hill and left it because he can't get it back up.
Oh, my.
But it is what it is.
That's a pretty good long driveway to walk up to, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah. It's straight uphill all the way.
Yeah.
But where he works, I think they're not going to start till 9 o'clock, and they didn't start till 9 o'clock yesterday. And they told them if they couldn't get out, don't try to and do property damage. But I hope he don't lose his job over not being able to get in.
Well, I know it's people ought to be a little more understanding, and it's difficult to go when you can't go.
That's right, and everybody don't live in the city where it's easy to get in and out.
That's right, and everybody don't work at the radio station.
That's exactly right. But we appreciate those that do. But we hope everybody's having a good day. It's very cold on this Tuesday morning. I've got 18 degrees, and I don't have any birthdays, anniversaries. I don't know of anything going on. It's just short, sweet, quiet, cold, and snowy. That's about the gist of it. It's I've had enough of it now. It can leave. I'm like a Ruby Taylor. Is it Ruby?
Yeah, Ruby don't like it at all.
Yeah, she don't like it either. No, I like to see it fall, but then I want it to be gone.
Well, 46 is pretty warm today, is what it's supposed to be, and the wind won't be quite as bad. So maybe we'll melt a lot of it off, but it won't be all melted. It'll be some here Wednesday morning, but. Maybe folks can get back to work by Wednesday, surely.
And I'm supposed to be going to a funeral tomorrow. I don't know if I'll get to go or not. I'm supposed to cook and take some food to help feed a family, but
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's not looking too promising, is it?
Is it down this way or is it up that way?
It's up at Macedonia Baptist Church up in McDowell County where I used to go.
Those roads are treacherous up through there.
Have to go through that tunnel.
Yeah. They probably haven't even scraped that road.
Probably hadn't. They may call it off. I don't know. I just don't know. But anyway, it is what it is. I can't change it, can I?
Que sera, sera.
If I could, I would.
I know. If we had control of it, we'd mess it up sometimes, wouldn't we?
That's right. But I guess you better go check on Luther Sweet Thing Gilligan to see if everything's all right down in the lower end of the county.
All right. I'll see you next time.
Okay. Catch you later.
Bye. Brenda Kelly reporting in this morning from Union Mills, and we'll check with Ellenboro in just a moment.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
All right, we're going over to Ellenboro now and talk with Luther Gilligan. If Luther and Tracy will finish their conversation on the phone. I tell you, these reporters love to talk to Tracy whenever. All right, let's see. We got Luther on the other line. Are you harassing my producer this morning?
Here.
Yeah? Well, stop it.
Looking at snow.
You feeling good today?
Hey, feeling great, having a good time. Don't know what I'm doing, but hey, I'm having a good time at it.
Yeah, good. That's good. Attitude's right.
A lot of times I don't know what I'm doing. But we're having a good time. It's quiet down here this morning, not a whole lot going on. Not as much traffic on the road is normal. Of course, the road's really slick. Of course, 74 is pretty clear through here. Side streets are still haven't been scraped or all that. But we're getting by. Especially the fire department, they were quiet. Yesterday, they only had one call yesterday afternoon. That was to a gas leak, but they didn't find anything. There was no signs of one, so they come on back and everything's still okay. And that's what's going on. But we have birthday, Miss Caroline Wilkie. She's having a birthday today. And also Doug Strickland up here, he's having a birthday today. And I see David Decker's having one today. So hope these people have a great day and enjoy their day. Jim, that's what's going on down here. Hope you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Be careful over there, and I will see you tomorrow.
Take care now.
Bye. And that wraps up the county this morning with our news reports from the various fire districts around the county. And we'll do this again this afternoon. There'll be a call around in the afternoon as well, starting about 5:10. And we'll circle other parts of the county and some of the same ones that we get on the afternoon. We do the Spindale Fire Department in the afternoons, and with some of the same ones and some of the others. So be sure to tune in and join us for that one as well. Now it's time for birthdays and anniversaries for this 18th day of January. January the 18th, you can call Tracy now at 287-3356 and give us a name, and we'll celebrate with them and with you and give a big shout-out. So call now at 287-3356. Birthdays and anniversaries are coming up next. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Good folks over there at Sisk Family Ford, the only locally owned new car dealership now in the county. So support local and shop with your neighbors and friends and keep the money right here. 7:47, and it's time for us to consider eating. Always, I've got eating on my mind, but you'll have to check with the Granny Bees to find their schedule. I don't know what their schedule is like due to the ice and snow. But call them, and if they're open, go get you some breakfast or some delicious donuts, or maybe have a pizza cooked for yourself. But anyway, check with them before you go and make sure they're open. And Granny Bee's always a delight to enjoy a meal from them, breakfast, lunch, and afternoon snacks, and even a fresh cup of hot coffee. They have some specialty coffee there as well at Granny Bee's. You'll enjoy doing business with them. I know you will. Here again, another locally owned restaurant that we can feel good about patronizing. Granny Bee's next door to Shake Shop in Spindale. And when you want your clothes clean and looking good and fresh, go by Folk Cleaners in Forest City. They're at the Rockwood Plaza. They do a great job, good folks, and they would love to have you come by and let them show you how much they can impress you with their good work. Laundry and dry clean is done to perfection at Folk Cleaners. They got to drive up to the side door there. You don't have to get out of your car, just hand it to them. They'll pick that up for you, and when you pick it up, you don't have to get out of your car. They'll bring it back to your car for you if you like it done that way. Anyway, Folk Cleaners is the place to have your clothes laundered and dry cleaned. Happy birthday. A local birthday's called in this morning, so we want to, all of you who are born anyway or living a life, that it's going to be a great day for you. Hope it's a good day, good life, and we'll celebrate with you anyway. Coming up in just a few moments, Keys to Confident Living, and the top of the hour, Andrew Tissa will you. And the bottom of the hour, Congresswoman Virginia Fox will be my guest, all straight ahead, exclusively on the Morning Wake-Up Call. And my name's Bishop. Jim Bishop.
a large city, there was a man who opened a delicatessen on a street that already had 2 salami salons. One's advertising slogan said that his bologna was the finest in the world. The second claimed to be the best in the universe. The new man on the block simply declared nicest in the neighborhood. He backed it up with thoughtful, courteous service that went far beyond the norm. That man used the gift of kindness, and his business far exceeded its potential. Charles Schultz said, "There is no greater burden than great potential. It really demands much of us. It won't let us settle for mediocrity when it is accompanied with a determination to be the best that God created us to be." When we look at the tremendous strides humanity has made, not only in fields of science and technology, but in other areas as well, it is incredible. We went from the outhouse to outer space in a few short years. Cures have been found for so many infectious diseases. All this is possible because many people were willing to assume the burden of their potential. We all have certain God-given gifts and talents that are uniquely ours. We may not have the scientific minds of Albert Einstein or Louis Pasteur. We perhaps can't paint like Van Gogh, play a piano like Van Cliburn, or sing like Pavarotti. But God has blessed each of us with gifts, and He always provides us with opportunities to use them. This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living.
WCAB Rutherford.
Visit Zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
On our first date, we had masks on and kept 6 feet apart. Now, we're a lot closer.
Just like Cliff and Deb, thousands of singles over 50 found their perfect match on Silver Singles last year.
I feel like I'm 20 years old again, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same way.
Rediscover the magic of dating with Silver Singles, the exclusive community for singles over 50. Sign up today and receive daily matches you won't want to miss at silversingles.com/radio. silversingles.com/radio.
The Texas abortion law banning abortions after 6 weeks staying in place after a federal appeals court turned back a plea by state abortion providers. Police in Los Angeles are looking for a killer after the murder last week of a UCLA grad student. Here's ABC's Alex Stone.
As early as today, ABC News has learned a reward will be announced in the murder of Brianna Kupfer, a 24-year-old UCLA grad student alone at work at a luxury furniture store here in L.A. last week. A man dressed all in black, who police believe may have been homeless, went into the store, stabbed Kupfer to death, and was seen on surveillance video calmly walking away. Her body was found by a customer about 20 minutes later. Police don't know who the man was or why he committed what they believe was a random attack. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The family of a delivery driver killed last month when a tornado destroyed an Amazon warehouse in Illinois is now suing. They accuse the company of failing to warn employees in Edwardsville about the dangerous weather or provide a safe shelter within the building. 6 people were killed when that facility collapsed. In Seattle, a lucky escape from a home that's in danger of sliding away. A woman says she was thrown from her bed when her house suddenly started to move. She and her husband were able to get out, but the house is now sitting on a 45-degree slope. Officials blame a water main break and a landslide. Over a dozen other nearby homes have also been evacuated. This is ABC News.
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports that they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. We can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
You'll need your winter coats today. High temperatures in the low to mid 40s. It's chilly and breezy, though. Plenty of sunshine expected. Tonight, partly cloudy, still cool, with low temperatures dipping into the mid 20s. By tomorrow, we'll start to see increasing clouds ahead of our next weather system. High temperatures do warm back into the upper 40s to lower 50s, but a chance for rain returns tomorrow night into Thursday. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell in the Weather Center.
Currently it's 20 degrees here at WCAB. It's going to be a beautiful day, warming up here, I think, up until about 46, and light wind today. Not as heavy winds as it was yesterday, but tonight we're back down to 23, light wind. Tomorrow, some gusting up to 16 miles per hour. And then Wednesday night looks like some rain coming in. Thursday, rain likely. And then Friday, it changes, Thursday night rather, changes to rain and snow, at least according to the forecast. And then Friday, mostly cloudy with scattered snow showers throughout today on Friday morning, with highs around 32, wind chill value as low as 19, and the chance of that precipitation about 30%, and then scattered snow showers on Friday night. So I don't know what that means exactly. It's crazy right now. We'll just have to wait till it gets a little closer to where that storm's coming from. We may wake up Saturday morning with another blanket of snow on the ground. You can go through another weekend with beautiful, lovely, mushy snow. Meanwhile, we just smile and go right on as though we know what we're doing, right? And we have on the studio with me this morning, by the way, coming up 8:30 this morning, Congresswoman Virginia Fox will be my guest. We'll be talking with her about things that are going on in Washington. So nice and calm up there. Everybody gets along. Nobody's having any problems up in Washington. Yeah, right. But here in Rutherford, we get along just great because we have a friend in the studio with me right now that has good words to say about everybody. Andrew Tisdale with Edward Jones. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
Great.
You had a good flight back in home, huh?
Yeah, when we finally was able to get one, we were we had 2 flights canceled, and finally, talking about Washington D.C., we got into what we flew into Washington, D.C. We left, well, let me go back. It's been a long journey.
Yeah.
We got up at 3:30 a.m. yesterday in Bangor, Maine, and flew into Washington, D.C. and stayed in Washington, D.C. till about 4:30 yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah. Some people got along in Washington. Some people didn't.
There
There were some people that was pretty upset because their flights were getting canceled and all that too.
Pretty big airport too.
We was in the Reagan National Airport, which they have two. It was a busy airport.
Well, I'm glad you got back safe and sound.
Yeah, we are.
Did you do some skiing while you were in Bangor?
We didn't do any skiing. We did some snowmobiling.
Oh, okay.
Never been on a snowmobile, but it was really fun. They have interstate connected snowmobile trails up there.
Oh, that's good.
And they maintain it, and you can drive all the way across the state with it. Beautiful scenery. We were in the Moosehead Lake area and just did something none of us has ever done, and can say some things that we did that most people look at and say, y'all are crazy.
No, you're not. Just having fun.
Negative 14 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah. I told you. See, he didn't say it, but he looked like it.
Reminds me of Alaska.
That's right.
You got moved yet?
We are. We are up and running our new office. Still decorating, still getting some furniture in and situated, but we're working.
Good.
We're working.
Tell us what you got on your mind today.
Well, let's think about the snow weather, and I guess it really hit me when it talked about when 3 separate flights were canceled for us when we were trying to get home, and things in life just come up sometimes we don't expect. So let's talk about how can we prepare for that. Well, I'm going to talk about one thing instead of getting into a bunch of different ones. But one thing I want to encourage everyone to really think through today: do I have enough of an emergency fund? An emergency fund is simply money you've set aside for unexpected events, or like a lot of people call it your rainy day fund. And why do I need that? Well, if I can't cover unexpected events, because we all know life is going to throw you unexpected events, then you're going to have to go in debt, because I'm going to have to pay it with a credit card. And then that $3,000 emergency, because my heating broke down in the middle of a January snowstorm, actually is now going to turn out to be $7,000-8,000, because I'm going to put it on a credit card, and then I'm going to be charged 15% interest till I get it paid off. And then that's going to affect a lot of other things in my budget, because now I have an actual monthly bill that I didn't have before. So don't let yourself be caught off guard. Now, how much do you need to put into an emergency fund? If you don't have anything, start working. This is one of the best investments you can make for yourself. Start putting away enough to get at least $1,000 in somewhere. Most of the time, an insurance deductible is going to cover after $1,000. So it's actually getting to that point. Then start paying off your debt, your credit cards. Then go and start getting, if you are a couple that has 2 people working, 3 months. If you're single, probably a good idea would be to get an extra month in there. And all this is doing is actually keeping you more and more out of debt, because let's think about that. A credit card debt is making 15% return on your money, and you're allowing them to do that. Why don't you actually take control of that so that you don't have to pay them extra cost, and that emergency don't come and hit you in the back and cost you more than whatever it was that happened. Emergency funds are some of the most important parts of investing.
And probably one of the things we overlook the most. We do,
because if you see it in your bank account, I always say find a good, solid, decent return money market account and just set it in there and don't forget you got it. But it's going to come in your statement and you say, oh, I got the $3,000 there, and then Christmas comes up and you're like, I think I want to get that, and then you dip into that. So when do you use emergency fund? Well, number one, is it an emergency? Is it urgent? And is it necessary? It has to click all 3 of those boxes.
Vital questions.
Yep.
Well, tell us again, remind us where the new office is located.
233 Charlotte Road. We actually have a small banner on you can see from the road until our new sign gets put up. Weather's kind of delayed that a little bit. But 233 Charlotte Road. I got up there last night, drove up into the parking lot. So it was good last night. I'll see here in a minute how it is this morning. I know that it was It was icy, and but we do have a phone.
Good. Now, that phone number is 287-9197.
We didn't change that.
All right.
That's
all
right.
Andrew Tisdale, my guest this morning with Edward Jones. He's a financial advisor. Always happy to have him on Tuesday mornings. Be safe out there.
We will.
I'll see you next week.
And just tell everybody who's been scraping these roads, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so
They've
much.
They've done a great thing for the community.
And they worked around the clock.
They did. They did.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
See you now. Virginia Fox this morning at 8:30. Right now, let's hear this, and I'll be back with some news from here and there.
For quality service and reliable care for your vehicle, make the right choice with Horns Tire and Auto. When the seasons change, so should your tires. Head on over for a quick and easy tire change. When you need service on your car, don't settle for anything less than the best quality service. Make the right choice with Horns Tire and Auto. Terry Horn and his team know how to help you out at the right price and on your timetable. That's Horns Tire and Auto Service, 370 Main Street in Ellenboro, or call them at 828-453-7444.
Well, according to the Associated Press, the already delayed North Carolina primary could now move to June, according to this article. It was also reported in the Daily Courier. North Carolina Republican legislators on Monday announced plans to attempt to further delay the already postponed state primary, responding to worries about timing should the state Supreme Court strike down recent redistricting plans. The legislature would return to work tomorrow, Wednesday, to take up a bill that would push the May 7th primary for the U.S. Senate and House seats, the General Assembly, and scores of judicial and local positions to June 7th, the GOP leader said. Any election date change likely would need some Democratic support to become law. Democratic Governor Roy Cooper isn't on the ballot this year, but would be asked to sign any measure into law. Republicans like veto-proof majorities in the House and the Senate. State law had set the primary for March 8th, but the Supreme Court last month delayed it to mid-May, while litigation challenging the legislative and congressional maps the GOP-controlled legislature approved in November were heard. It would appear to be a massive undertaking to resolve the lawsuit, especially if lines are declared unconstitutional and legislators redraw them and still have time to run the primary election on its current date. A trial court last week refused to throw out the maps. Voters and advocacy groups who sued over the lines appealed that decision to the Supreme Court, which scheduled oral arguments for February the 2nd. The State Board of Elections has said that maps would need to be worked out by February the 18th to allow for the orderly preparation for the May 17th primary. And should districts be struck down, state law directs that the General Assembly receive at least 2 weeks to remedy any defects identified with lines before a court can impose its own substitute plan. A quick turnaround also would give candidates a few days to decide whether to run under altered districts, according to the Office of Senate Redistricting Committee Co-Chairman Ralph Heiss. The extremely short time frame is not necessary and can be lengthened by moving the state's primary elections to June 7th, a news release from Heiss's office said. Otherwise, it is not fair to potential candidates and increases the likelihood of confusion and chaos. House Speaker Tim Moore told the Associated Press in an interview Monday that he hasn't heard personally such reasoning, but still feels a 3-week delay is warranted. It gives us all time to work on something, Moore said. Because of the schedule, we think it is wise to move back the primary for a short period of time. The legislature hasn't held a voting session since late November, but the House and Senate have been holding pro forma sessions since late December, and in part to have a ready method to place to address remapping or election alterations. A bill introduced Friday by Senate Republicans that pushes back certain municipal elections still set to occur in March and April isn't controversial. So we don't know yet when that's going to be. They should just go ahead and decide it's going to be a certain day and let it go and let the chips fall where they may, right? Yeah, well, we'll see. Meanwhile, the Daily Courier is reporting about a landmark in Rutherford being demolished. You've seen the building many times. Some have been there for various reasons. Some even go back to the days when it was a Rexall drugstore. Then it became legal ground. Well, it's going to start crumbling here pretty soon. It's over 100 years old and soon will be demolished. The building, most recently known as the Legal Grounds Building, was constructed in 1912 and served for years as a bank. It later became a successful drugstore for many years and later became Legal Grounds, a coffee shop, restaurant, and bar. At the closure of legal grounds, the building fell into disrepair that has only worsened through the years, and with the owners apparently neglecting to do anything to preserve it. The property is technically owned by Cynthia Grundall and Doug Grundall, mother and son who operated legal grounds. The property has 32 liens against it, has gone through bankruptcy court, and ultimately the town of Rutherford was issued a consent judgment by the North Carolina Superior Court on October 20th, 2021. Addressing the property as a public nuisance, the judgment order grants the town unconditional permission to remedy the nuisance, including but not limited to a demolition of all structures on the property. The building is located at 217 North Main Street and sits on the south side of the courthouse with a one-way street between them. The building is considered historic, and because it lies within the town's historic district, the town's planning board had to approve the demolition and did so at its meeting Thursday, January the 13th, issuing an official certificate of appropriateness. Planning board members discussed how the building has sustained multiple structural collapses, with the roof falling in, water regularly pouring into the basement. Because of damage already done, shoring up the north wall of the building closest to the courthouse is not feasible, and the wall is in danger of collapsing. The board members agreed that what has happened already to the historic building is demolition by neglect. Planning board member Grant Bailey said, quote, "The whole legal ground saga has been tragic." He said, transforming the address from a junk heap to an empty lot is a great move in the right direction. It's sad, but the building really can't be saved. Rutherford town manager Doug Barrick told the town council, said the town council has wrestled with the legal grounds issue for years. Per the town's historic commission guidelines, the town will document the legal grounds building, ensuring that a permanent record of the building survives. There will also be efforts to save any architectural significant features of the building, including the granite decorative beams that span openings such as doors or windows and many other ornate interior and exterior details. The demolition could begin mid to late March. Barrick struck a note of optimism and said this is a time for town leaders to reimagine what that area would look like. The town owns property directly across the street from the courthouse, the corner of East 2nd and North Main, sometimes called the Hole, and is also considering options for that location as well. Many of you have been in that building, legal grounds building, either when it was I don't remember it being a bank, but I do remember it being a Rexall drugstore. Went in there many times, had an account there at one time, an advertising account with us, and knew the guy who owned it. Then it became legal grounds. Before it became a bar, I was in there having coffee many times with friends. We solved a lot of world's problems sitting in the corner over there drinking coffee at legal grounds. Then it changed hands, and the ABC law passed, and it became a different scenario altogether. One other quick story, the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors announced that Ashton Turnage has been appointed as the Chamber's new executive director. The experienced business leader, Turnage, takes the Chamber lead following the retirement of Clark Poole, former executive director. Turnage said, "I'm excited for our community and local business to work with Ashton Turnage." This is Buffy Fountain, the president. She's motivated to further develop business relationships. I believe her values and ideals will be a great asset to our community. Buffy Fountain said that, Chamber Board President. Turnage has over 15 years of experience in finance, marketing, and business development with emphasis on business systems and relationship management. Turnage said it's an honor to have been selected as the new executive director of the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce. I look forward to working with the Chamber Board, the staff, volunteers, and all our existing and future members to champion our local businesses and serve as a resource during a time of recovery. Turnage says she plans to utilize her extensive experience to lead the Chamber and its members in exploring new opportunities to unite Rutherford County businesses in establishing economic growth and prosperity. Turnage was most recently Director of Finance, Tourism, and Economic Progress for the Kernersville Chamber of Commerce. Preceding her career in the nonprofit sector, Turnage worked with the credit union industry. She's a graduate of East Carolina University with a degree in recreation and park management with a concentration in nonprofit sectors. So we welcome the new Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce, Ashton Turnage, to this new position and to Rutherford County, and we hope to continue our relationship with the Chamber under her leadership. 22 past 8 o'clock. Sheriff's Report coming up here in just a moment. You know, there is a lot of misleading information about Medicaid eligibility. The Arledge Law Firm would like for you to know the truth. For instance, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your home. That's not true. Another one is, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. Again, not true. And this big one, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. Not true, not true, not true. Call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Kent Baldwin, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm and get free consultation and learn the truth. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify for nursing home care and not lose everything you own. It's worth a call to Arledge Law Firm at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherford. Do yourself a favor and stop by Scrappy's Food and Fuel. If you'd like a great hot dog or hand-breaded chicken tenders and onion rings or maybe a juicy hamburger, then your next stop should be Scrappy's Food and Fuel. Full breakfast served Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. until 2 p.m., Saturdays from 7 until 2. Those hot handmade biscuits are ready at 6 a.m. You really need to check out their menu for other choices, too. The store is open till 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday for your favorite snacks and gasoline fill-ups. Scrappy's Food and Fuel is on the corner of Chase High Road and Highway 221, just below Floyd's Creek Baptist Church. Scrappy's Food and Fuel, locally owned and operated. Now here is Sheriff Chris Francis with our morning report.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 106 calls for service. There have been 2 arrests processed at the county jail, none by the Sheriff's Office, however, and we have 153 currently incarcerated in jail. Among our incident reports, we had a larceny of motor vehicle parts on Oakland Road in Forest City. There was a catalytic converter that was taken off of a truck and it was valued at $1,000. We had a missing person, Golden Valley Church Road. She has since been recovered and located. We had a breaking, entering, and larceny on Piney Mountain Church Road in Ellenborough. Someone broke into a residence and took a Samsung washer and dryer set about $800 and a stainless steel Samsung refrigerator and stove combined valued over $1,250. And this has been last seen since early January, not during our snowstorm. So this did occur before that. And we also had a missing person reported from College Avenue, but she also has since been heard from and been taken out of NCIC. And Jim, that's what I had to report in the last 24 hours.
All right, Sheriff, I'm glad things have not been extremely bad enough to have any calls, but it's not as bad. Maybe the snow sort of slowed things down, huh?
It did everything except for the wrecks. As I look at the motor vehicle crashes that the town police departments took care of in Highway Patrol yesterday, I just recommend everybody to stay off the roads as long as they can today. May have some melting later in the early afternoon, but just a reminder that Rutherford County Sheriff's Office is closed today, administrative offices, as well as all other county offices, the convenience centers, landfill, transit will be closed, senior center will be closed. Pretty much all the county offices will be closed. Obviously, we'll 911 dispatch is always working. Sheriff's office is always responding to calls. Those things are happening, but otherwise, offices are closed today.
The Rams will visit the defending Super Bowl champion Buccaneers Sunday for a spot in the NFC Championship game. NBA action Monday. Miles Bridges scored 28 in the first half, en route to a career-high 38 points. He also had 12 boards and leading the Hornets to a 97-87 win over the Knicks at a matinee game in Madison Square Garden. Charlotte bounced back nicely from a loss to Orlando, which ended a 4-game winning streak. The Hurricanes announced Monday that forward Martin Necas, who celebrated his 23rd birthday Saturday by scoring a goal in the Canes' 4-1 win over Vancouver, is now in the team's COVID protocol. Carolina, meanwhile, welcoming back Jacob Slavin, who was in the protocol since last Tuesday after testing positive. Head coach Rod Brindamore asked about having Slavin back in the lineup.
He's obviously a huge part of our team, so I mean, we sorely miss him when he's out. Probably take for granted a little bit when he's in there, but it'd be nice that he'll be joining us.
And now on losing Necas to the protocol.
This is going to be a big setback, but it's kind of what we said was going to happen eventually. It's just inevitable, so hopefully we get through it and doesn't miss too much action, but yeah, it was too bad because that line looked pretty good.
Canes back in action tonight in Boston to take on the Bruins at 7 o'clock. The game could actually be a challenge because Carolina's not actually played a game away from PNC Arena in more than a month. That's because of all the postponements. This is NCN Sports.
With the potential threat of COVID-19, getting your kid vaccinated as soon as possible is really the right move to make.
Vaccinating our kids will protect them from severe disease, will prevent them from hopefully spreading it to other people who may not be able to get the vaccine.
Our whole goal is to help your child and your family be as safe and healthy as possible.
Kids have a spot
to take their shot.
Kids have a spot to take their shot.
Everyone 5 and older can get a COVID-19 vaccine. Visit myspot.nc.gov.
With the new law, more people qualify for financial assistance at healthcare.gov. Real customers like Taylor.
You know, I wish people knew how easy it was to get health coverage. This new law has made it so affordable. I'm only paying $52 a month, but there are quality plans for even less.
New law, lower prices, more people qualify. Enroll by January 15th at healthcare.gov.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
5-time finalist Andy Murray needed a tough 5-setter over a player he beat last week to register his first win at the Australian Open since 2017. Murray beat Nicolas Basilashvili to move on to the second round. He had beaten Basilashvili last week on way to the final in the Sydney tune-up event. In another tough 5-setter, Maxime Cressy beat fellow American and the 22nd seeded player John Isner, who is from North Carolina. Also on day 2 of the competition, the title favorite Daniil Medvedev moved into the second round with a 4-set victory over Henri Lachenson, extending his Grand Slam winning streak to 8 matches. That includes his victory in the U.S. Open final last September, a result that denied top-ranked Novak Djokovic a calendar year Grand Slam tournament. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
You'll need your winter coats today. High temperatures in the low to mid 40s. It's chilly and breezy, though. Plenty of sunshine expected. Tonight, partly cloudy, still cool, with low temperatures dipping into the mid 20s. By tomorrow, we'll start to see increasing clouds ahead of our next weather system. High temperatures do warm back into the upper 40s to lower 50s, but a chance for rain returns tomorrow night into Thursday. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell in the Weather Center.
Well, it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining, but it can be deceiving as well because it is going to be cold today. Right now we're at 22, and it does warm up to 46 and light wind. It's going to be much more pleasant today than yesterday. But then tonight, it drops back down to 23 for the overnight low and light wind and some fog tonight. So when you wake up in the morning, you probably have some fog out there to deal with also. Now, we're still looking at that iffy forecast on Friday night and Saturday. Actually Thursday night and Friday. Chance of precip is 30%, chance of rain and snow. And then on Friday, scattered snow showers developing with highs around 32. Wind chill value as low as 19. The chance of precip by 30%. And then Friday night, partly cloudy with scattered snow showers, lows around 19. And we'll see what happens when that happens with our weather. It's be one of those iffy kind of forecasts. We'll guess that coming up here in just a few moments. 9:05 this morning, My Great America with Jim and Butch. And in just a few moments, we're going to have Virginia Fox, our Congresswoman, talking with us.
Being free means your connection goes where you go, from local favorites to faraway places. And with our Better Than Free event at Carolina West Wireless, you can save over $1,000 on our most popular smartphones with an eligible trade-in and when you bring your own number. Or take home a free Samsung Galaxy A12 smartphone and get an additional $150 in credits when you switch. Celebrate the freedom to take your service anywhere with a Better Than Free deal from Carolina West Wireless. Certain restrictions apply. See representative for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
Now at 8:30, let's welcome again back to our radio microphones and telephones Congresswoman Virginia Fox. She's here up and at 'em early this morning. Good morning, Congresswoman Fox. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jim. I hope you are.
I am doing well. You know, before we get started, I want to say several people have commented to me about how happy they are that you take your time to talk with us here in Rutherford County on a regular basis. They feel like they get to know you better, know what's happening up there, and your conversation with me they really enjoy. And I want to thank you, too, for spending some time with us.
Well, I'm delighted, and I get a lot of positive feedback, too, Jim. So it's a wonderful way to do it. I hope people will sign up for my weekly newsletter, too, because I send out a weekly newsletter, and it has a lot of good information on it, I think.
Yeah. Someone called also this morning, wanted to know when you were going to be back in this area again.
Well, I always look for events to go to, And when people invite me to come, then I come. One of the problems that we have, Jim, is that we're in D.C. so much during the week, and it cuts down on my ability to be in the district. I'm sometimes just home on Saturdays, and that, again, I'll get home on Friday night and have to go back on Sunday night to be there on Monday. And so I am happy to get there. Usually comes around an event that's coming up, but I don't know of any events right now that are coming up.
You do want to spend a little time at home with your husband, I guess, so too, right?
Well, I do need to do that. I need to do the laundry. I mean, people think they say, you do the laundry? Well, yes, I do, and I have to go home and so let the dog know I'm still around so he won't bite me when I come in, those kinds of things.
Congresswoman Fox, what is this about you guys up there, guys and gals, for suing Nancy Pelosi? Tell us that story.
Yes, that was the headline on my newsletter this week, so I'm anxious to talk to my communications director to see how many people opened it up, hoping that intrigued some people. Nancy Pelosi last year, or actually 2 years, I guess in 2020, put in a process for people to vote proxy. And we just believe that's unconstitutional, illegal, and wrong in every way. We believe that members of Congress should be there when they are voting. Now, to me, this week last week was the worst of the situations because we had what's known as a quorum vote. So at the beginning of every session, we vote to say we're there. We're present. And you actually vote using the present button. Jim, 80 people had somebody else vote for them. They said we're present. Now, how would it be if you called in early one morning and said to Todd, well, just count me as present. I'm not going to be there today.
That wouldn't work too good.
It wouldn't work too good, right? But the rest of the world shows up. Members of Congress, Democrat members of Congress, don't see a reason to show up. And we believe that is absolutely wrong. We also believe it's unconstitutional. The Congress never stopped voting during the 1918 flu epidemic, World War I, World War II, nothing, Civil War, nothing has stopped Congress from meeting and voting except for this little virus. And Nancy Pelosi, we have people who have not been there except for one time in 2 years.
Oh, wow.
They came in to vote for Nancy Pelosi, and that's the only time they've been there.
Folks like that will be voted out of the House.
It's just wrong. It's just wrong. And so we don't think you should be done that way, and we want Nancy Pelosi to change the rule.
Last week seemed to be a bad week for the president, and a good week for American people. Is his world crumbling pretty fast? You think President Biden's world crumbling?
Well, he is showing the incompetence of him and his administration. Jim, we've called them crises. I would think we should call them disasters. Everything they have attempted to do, they have messed up on. I mean, they have messed up on royally. We don't have testing. We don't have masks. The testing is the worst. People want to get tested to find out if they have COVID. And President Biden was approached last year suggesting that they had put together a plan to come up with adequate numbers of tests for the American people, and they didn't pick up on it. They brushed it off, and now we have a situation where people can't get the test. And a mail million of them to Americans. Well, that's a huge waste of money, Jim. It's a huge waste of money to mail out these test kits to people because a lot of people just won't use them, and a lot of people don't need them. That they seem to have no regard for how much anything costs. And, you know, some people think, well, it's the federal government doing this. No, it's our taxpayer dollars that are doing that. Everything that the federal government spends comes from you and me and other taxpayers. And so if they're wasting money, it's yours and my money that they're wasting.
I know you don't run his schedule and do his calendar, but the time is approaching real closely for the State of the Union address the president does. Is he going to have anything to say? What is he going to talk about when everything he seems to touch falls apart?
Well, you know, I'd recommend that your listeners read the book 1984. We're a little behind from 1984. But people ought to read that book because it sort of describes where we are. In the book, the government lies about everything. So everything is portrayed as something that it isn't. So, you know, inflation, the latest reports on inflation were huge. That inflation is the highest it's been in over 40 years. And the president came out and said, oh, we're bringing inflation down. Opposite. Inflation had gone up in a 1-month period. At first, we had the highest inflation for 32 years. Then it went up to the highest inflation in 40 years. And he's saying we're bringing inflation under control. He thinks he can just stand in front of the American people and lie, and that the American people will believe him. But, Jim, they're not buying what this administration is selling. They're just not doing it.
I'm noticing even the left-leaning news media are beginning to turn their backs on him in reporting and giving him 4 Pinocchios for some of the things that he says. So he's losing his friends, isn't he?
Absolutely, yes. When he starts losing the left-leaning media, he is in bad shape because they're the ones that are still supporting him, and then the yellow dog Democrats. And I think folks in Rutherford County know that yellow dog Democrats means you're going to vote for a Democrat no matter, even if it's a yellow dog. And those yellow dog Democrats will continue to believe him and support him, but they shouldn't be.
I know you may have a comment on this, you may not, but I know the courts and the legislature bouncing back and forth as to when our next primary is going to be held, and there's still a lot of people weighing the balance in regard to making a move. Do you have a comment about this back and forth on the primary?
I do. You know, Jim, the Constitution is abundantly clear. It says every 10 years there'll be a census, and every 10 years the legislature will draw legislative and congressional districts. In January of 2021, Eric Holder, President Obama's Attorney General, said, we're going to sue till North Carolina turns blue. And so the Democrats are going to continue to sue in North Carolina and go as far as they can go to see if they can do in the courts what they can't do at the ballot box. They can't at the ballot box pick up seats, but they think they can do it in the courts. So that's the situation that we're facing right now, is that the Democrats want to gain seats in the legislature, want to gain seats in the Congress, and they want to do that through friendly courts. You know, we have right now 4 Democrats on the North Carolina Supreme Court and 3 Republicans. That is a dangerous situation, Jim, a very dangerous situation. And we need to change that in 2022.
I know a lot of folks think all Congress people do is pass laws and argue about laws, but you're also, I noticed in your last newsletter, you're alerting us on a new scam alert. Would you clarify that with our listeners, what we need to look out for?
Yes, yeah. We try to let people know about scams all the time, Jim. And, you know, if people see something and they think that if it's too good to be true, then it is too good to be true. So don't give up your information. That's the main thing we try to explain to people. Or if you're online and you think you're going to get some good coupons from stores that you shop at, you could find that as you're trying to get those coupons, they're going to ask you for personal information and money. And we've got fake coupon scams. They have been around for a long, long time. But it's important to stay up to date on how to avoid them. One is fake services that require you to pay a monthly fee to receive a digital paper coupon in the mail. There are some legitimate online subscription services to use, but scammers have created ads and websites with fake deals that sound too good to be true. Well, that's because they are too good to be true. So what we recommend to people, never, ever, ever, ever give out your bank information, your Social Security number, your birth date, anything like that scammers could use and then get into your personal information, hack your bank account, hack your credit card, those kinds of things.
Well, I'll let you go in just a moment, but I did want to ask you this. We're all experiencing white hillsides down here in Rutherford County in western North Carolina. Did you get much snow where you were?
Oh, yes, about 15 inches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it looks like there might be more coming in the end of the week.
It does indeed,
yeah, but it's January, you know. Yeah. That's what we get.
It's wintertime.
Unfortunately, ski slopes didn't have much during Christmas, but hopefully because of the 3-day holiday just now, that it helped them out a little bit.
Any final word from you to our listeners before I let you go?
Well, I just always want to tell people that I wake up every morning and thank the good Lord for letting me live in this great country. It's the last thing I say before I go to bed at night. We have a lot of problems in our country. We have all throughout our history, but you know what? It's the greatest country in the world, and it takes every one of us to do what we can to keep it that way.
Congresswoman Virginia Fox, it's always a pleasure to have you on the radio with me, and you keep up the
Thank
good
you,
work.
Jim Bishop.
Look forward to talking to you again.
I appreciate it.
That's it.
All right.
Be
God
careful.
bless you.
Be careful out there.
All right. Bye-bye.
It's a pleasure to have her visiting. People love to hear her talk and love to meet her. She's such a down-home, friendly kind of person. Has a doctorate degree in education. She was the president of a community college up in her hometown before she ran for Congress. Then she went on to Congress. She was in the legislature for a while and went on to Congress and doing a bang-up job. And I hope we don't lose her in this redistricting. It looks like we may, but we'll keep her as long as we can keep her here in serving parts of Rutherford County. It's 8:45. My Great America with Jim and Butch coming up 9:05 this morning. Right now it's 8:45, and we got to hear these words.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continue to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
It's that time again, time to get the flu vaccines. And Smith Drugs in Forest City has the flu vaccinations available. Walk-ins Monday through Friday and Saturdays by appointment. And Smith Drug is asking all their Dream Station and System 1 CPAP customers to call if you need any help with registering your recall devices. Just call the Home Medical Department for any help or with questions at 828-245-4591. And Smith Drugs has the Moderna and Pfizer initial shots and the boosters. They also have the flu vaccines at Smith Drugs of Forest City.
Are you in the market for farm equipment? So now is the perfect time to see the boys at East Rutherford Equipment. They have quality equipment exclusively by Mahindra. Mahindra offers a heavier lift capacity with stronger parts for the toughest of jobs. Stop in today and see Doyle or Tommy Hollifield at East Rutherford Equipment, 153 Hamrick Road in Ellenborough, or give them a call at 453-0090. Mahindra and East Rutherford Equipment, a good combination.
We got a lot of program yet to do today on the radio, AM and FM, WCAB. We got a lot of good music down the road from the Vault of Treasure music, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s music, the classic oldies. We play after 9:30 this morning all the way up until 11:30. Then after 3 o'clock today, we'll have more of it. And throughout the evening, we have it, the best of classic oldies. Right now, just a couple of items just to keep you refreshed on what's happening. A professor at the University of Miami School of Law has penned a proposal for a redo of the First and Second Amendment of the Constitution. He penned that to a Boston Globe op-ed. Marianne Franks, the Michael R. Klein Distinguished Scholar Chair at the university, wrote that the first two amendments, which include the rights to free speech, religion, and bearing arms, inspire religious-like fervor in many Americans, and that both are deeply flawed in their respective conceptualities. These two amendments are highly susceptible to being read in isolation from the Constitution as a whole and from its commitment to equality and the collective good, she wrote. She obviously implanting a seed of thought there for people to change that and get that out of the Constitution and make it not even necessary. That's how they do things. It's sort of, they don't ever slap you. They sneak it in on you. That's how they did the gay rights movement on television. They had one little tidbit on television, one of the shows, and people laughed at it, thought it was funny. Then they added another one. Then they added another. Now they have entire TV shows where they're glorifying the LGBT movement, and they sort of sneak up on you, like it's an elephant nose under the tent, and then all of a sudden you got the whole shebang. Well, because of the winter storm that Rutherford County had, 2 of the 3 Martin Luther King events organized by the Martin Luther King Committee of Viejo was postponed. The original scheduled Martin Luther King morning prayer service that was set for Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Continued as planned, and then the celebration planned for Sunday afternoon in Forest City was rescheduled for Sunday, January 23rd at 3 p.m. at New Bethel AME Zion Church in Forest City. The walk, originally scheduled for Monday, will instead be Saturday, January 22nd. Participants will meet on the courthouse lawn in Rutherford and walk north down Main Street to Kiwanis Park, where there will be speakers and music. So the snowstorm kind of changed a lot of schedules. Students in Rutherford County schools have a new opportunity to learn about the stars thanks to a Facebook Community Action Grant. The Innovation Star Lab Station is an interactive mobile dome planetarium with multiple programs to expose students to space in a new format. School leaders are excited about Star Lab, which is an extension of Project STEAM, STEAM standing for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics, a new initiative to bring STEAM education to all Rutherford County students. The planetarium was purchased through the grant made to RCS Education Foundation and is overseen by the RCS Academically and or Intellectually Gifted Program and RCS Technology Department. And each year, the Star Lab will travel to schools exposing students to a variety of science concepts. So it's good to have that in the school systems, I suppose. 50 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock, just a few minutes away from update on the ABC National News, and we'll have My Great America with Jim and Butch. Just trying to see one other quick story here I wanted to get to your attention because I think it's important that you know these kind of things, and that is this one. We don't realize sometimes, when I do these, I'm not accusing our local school system of doing it because these are school systems in other places, but sometimes when it gets some traction, it starts moving across the country and it gets momentum and people start thinking it's great. Well, students at an elementary school in Illinois have gotten invitations to an after-school Satan Club. Satan Club that is holding events on 5 different days throughout the spring term, according to the report. This is out of Bob Unrose published in this story from World Net Daily. The Washington Examiner explained the invitation went to kids at Jane Addams Elementary in Moline, Illinois, whose attendance has been requested by the club that is being developed by the Satanic Temple. It's for students in 1st through 5th grade. Yeah, they just out bold about it. The report said parents were reacting negatively. I should hope they would, with one posting an image of the invitation on social media and wondering, how is this even a thing? An official from the Moline Coal Valley School District told Fox 2 locally that the district has policies and procedures in place for community use of its facilities outside the school day. The official said that allows any religious group, regardless of a denomination, to rent the rooms for a fee. The official said Christian groups are allowed the same opportunity. In the Examiner report, the official said flyers and promotional materials for these types of groups are approved for lobby posting or display only and not for mass distribution. Please note that the district must provide equal access to all groups and that students need parental permission to attend any after-school event. Our focus remains on student safety and student achievement. Has nothing to do with it. It's a satanic meeting. I just want to make sure that everybody's safe. The Satan Club offered science projects, puzzles and games, arts and crafts projects, and nature activities. It's from the only time the same issue has come up. WND, World Net Daily, reported in 2016 that a series of Satan Club meetings was proposed, but within a year the plans turned out to be a dismal flop, attracting the interest of only one person, and that's the kind of attitude it should bring forward. Atheists masquerading as a so-called Satanist temple group ended an after-school program at Point Defiance Elementary School in Tacoma because there was no interest there at all. And if we train our kids and our grandkids about the evils of that and train our kids and grandkids about the positive things about the scriptures and the Bible and the Judeo-Christian values, then perhaps they too will recognize that as being something they don't want to participate in. How about that now? That'd be a nice thing, wouldn't it? Coming up in just a few moments, ABC News. I'm going to take a little pause for the calls and step out of here a minute. Get ready for My Great America with Jim and Butch.
The music's on us on WCAB.
Americans.
People will be able to order 4 tests per household at covidtests.gov. And you just enter your name and address, and they'll be mailed right to your doorstep. There will be a call line for people who don't have Wi-Fi. They're going to be shipped out 7 to 12 days after they're ordered.
That's ABC's Cheyenne Hazlett. The CEO of the nation's airlines asking AT&T and Verizon not to launch their 5G service tomorrow as planned.
If they do, there are concerns in the aviation industry that it could mess with vital equipment for landing planes, and many planes would not be allowed to land at certain airports in bad weather under FAA rules. The CEOs of the nation's airlines are begging for a fix, saying if the 5G service is turned on tomorrow around airports, it will create havoc with diverted and canceled flights around the U.S. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Since the 2020 election, 19 states have passed more than 30 bills restricting access to voting. Later today, Senate Democrats take up voting rights at the federal level. The bill will not pass, though, because of 2 holdouts who oppose changing Senate rules to end the filibuster. Last night in Colleyville, Texas, a healing ceremony was held at the synagogue where that gunman took 4 congregants hostage before they were able to escape. You're listening to ABC News.
Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary.
With the stock market at all-time highs, cash in your profits now and invest in an asset that can potentially pay for up to 20 or more years. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you are an SEC-accredited investor, you can take advantage of Encore Energy's projects. Call now to learn how you can potentially achieve 20 or more years of income and deduct 100% of every dollar invested against all forms of income. Call 1-800-278-7455. Invest in your future and buy oil. Oil prices are projected to rise. In fact, Goldman Sachs is projecting oil to go up to $100 a barrel. You need to own a piece of an oil field. Call 1-800-278-7455. Encore Energy is a very active oil and gas operator in its core area of operations. Call now and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment and create 20 or more years of potential monthly income. Call 1-800-278-7455. You'll be calling directly to the home office of Encore Energy. That's 1-800-278-7455. 1-800-278-7455.
A big deal announced this morning in the video game industry. Microsoft is buying Activision Blizzard, the company behind games like Diablo, Call of Duty, and Candy Crush. The deal worth just shy of $69 billion. The race for governor in New York getting a little smaller. Former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio announcing in a Twitter post this morning he will not be running for governor. A federal appeals court leaving the most restrictive abortion law in the country in place.
By a 2-1 decision, a federal appeals court has rooted a case against a near-total ban on abortions in Texas to the state Supreme Court, which is controlled by 9 Republican justices. Abortion providers want their suit sent back to a federal court in Austin, which so far has been the only one to block the restrictions, if only for a few days. The law bans abortions once a heartbeat can be detected. That's usually at about 6 weeks, which is earlier than some women know they're pregnant. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Several U.S. senators paying a visit to Ukraine and warning Russia against invading. Connecticut's Chris Murphy.
What we need to explain to Russia is that this is not going to be bloodless.
Tensions are rising even further with Russia sending troops to neighboring Belarus now for what Russian officials are calling military exercises. A Swedish company says it's now taking pre-orders for a flying car dubbed the Jetson 1. It has a top speed of just over 60 miles an hour. They say since it's so light, buyers won't need a pilot's license. This is ABC News.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
You'll need your winter coats today. High temperatures in the low to mid-40s. It's chilly and breezy, though. Plenty of sunshine expected. Tonight, partly cloudy, still cool, with low temperatures dipping into the mid-20s. By tomorrow, we'll start to see increasing clouds ahead of our next weather system. High temperatures do warm back into the upper 40s to lower 50s, but a chance for rain returns tomorrow night into Thursday. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell in the Weather Center.
Currently sunny skies and 27 degrees. It's warming up nicely. Started out at 19. Now it's up to 27 and getting up to about 46 for our daytime high. Feel like summertime, but that wind is going to be kind of light. So it won't be too bad. We can try to get out and function today, maybe get some more snow scraped off the porch. But then we'll keep an eye on this weekend, Thursday night and Friday. We'll see what's going to take place and see what's going to happen Friday and Saturday. So just bear with us and keep your hopes up, one way or the other. If you hope it does it, if you hope it doesn't, we'll see which one wins out.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, good morning, Butch. A lot has happened since we talked last.
Good morning, Jim. You know what? I came in this morning, and I was so happy. I wasn't sure it would ever be used, but you know, I actually bought this for WCAB. Folks, if you can see this, this is a handy little thing. I got it at one of the stores here locally. Of course, it comes out like this, right?
Yes.
Look at this. Can you turn that? Okay, we're showing how technical we are here, folks.
Turn what?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I bought this about a year ago, not knowing if we would ever use it, but I understood from Tracy, who's here faithfully with you today, that this came in handy, and I'm so glad. Sometimes when you get something, you know, we're taught, and I really believe that nothing is insignificant to God. And I remember the day that I picked that up. I got it on a $3 day at one of the bin stores.
Well.
Yeah, for $3, and I remember bringing it here because I had on my heart to equip WCAB. And
well, it came in handy. Yesterday, I had to go out and scrape all the snow off both satellite dishes in order to get our signals in from our networks fed by satellite.
Right.
And I didn't have anything in the building that would copy it, but when I discovered that in my office again, I thought, boy, that's going to work.
That
really
gives me so much joy. And you know what? I have to tell you this. I was texting with you early, and you were here alone yesterday.
I was.
Yeah, and your friend wanted to come out, but discretion was the better part of valor. And but you made it here. And Jim, I've thought about the 35 years or however many years it is, you have made that trek in here. And like the Postal Service, you can't have rain or snow or hurricanes or whatever. You're going to make it here to WCAB, and I just salute you for it.
Lord's blessed me over the years. I've never missed a day because of weather.
That is just incredible. Those are like the truck drivers. We've had a few on the podcast. By the way, if you want to hear some interesting stories about the colorful and sometimes chaotic lives of truck drivers, go to lifebythemile.com. We do 2 podcasts a week, Jim, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we're getting a lot of good responses. The subscriber base is growing, and I sure enjoy that.
Those are really good. It's almost like reading a biography of their lives of those people who have been involved in the trucking industry.
Yeah, and one of the recruiters, for example, Reg, I had the opportunity to hear about his life, and, he came from a family that had a mortuary, and he's a private pilot, and he was a diver, and now he recruits drivers. So if you're interested in stories that are very consistent with America's storytelling tradition, it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We upload those, and go to lifebythemile.com. You can see the little logo actually here, cross-promoting it on WCAB.
Our friend Bud Byers was on. You did him.
Bud Byers was on. He was just so good, and I really enjoyed the opportunity to talk to these professional drivers. You know, within 3 days, the shelves would be bare if our truck drivers weren't out there driving across America doing what they do so well. Now, Jim, on this day in 1929, Walter Winchell, a lot of people that aren't our age won't remember his name, started his radio program. He was the first major commentator in America to directly attack Adolf Hitler and American pro-fascist organizations. He used to wear his felt hat when he was there on the radio. He would tap out a bogus Morse code with his telegraph key to punctuate stories that he was reading, and he would say, "Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. North and South America and all the ships at sea."
Yeah, I remember.
That was one of his lines, and the thing we need to remember is that we stand on the shoulder of pioneers, and certainly people like Walter Winchell and Julia Childs, who was so great with her iconic cooking programs, and people like Paul Harvey. It's those that were really icebreakers in the industry that your Rutherford counties not Julia Child, but Rutherford County's Walter Winchell, Paul Harvey, Jim, and those are people that were pioneers, weren't they?
That's right. There was another fellow. His first name eludes me, but his last name was Thomas, I believe.
Okay.
What was his name? You remember him? He did a commentary across America as well. Can't remember his name. As a matter of fact, his son lived in Alaska when we were up there.
Okay, if anybody remembers his name, call 287-3356 and let us know. His last name was what?
Thomas. Last name was Thomas.
Thomas. Well, you know what? And the thing about radio, Jim, is that it involves the mind. You know, television creates a sense of laziness. Of course, I don't own a TV anymore, and that's a different story. But it creates a sense of laziness. But radio really forces an engagement, doesn't it?
It paints pictures. You got to think about what's being said and what's being done.
And for all those people that say radio is dead, you know, I have these conversations with my millennial friends. They'll sometimes say to me, nobody listens to radio anymore.
Wrong.
But, Jim, we know that's not true, don't we?
Absolutely. People tell me all the time they'd rather hear, when the Tar Heels are playing, for instance, and they're on television, they'd rather hear the radio description of the game along with the Braves than they'd watch it on TV. They see it, but then those announcers are just not quite as up to it as the radio people are.
Well, and you know what,
they paint those pictures.
Yeah, I have a picture in my mind of my 89-year-old mother who has her Bible and her notebooks, and she listens to radio preachers. And I actually had the chance some years ago, back in the 80s, to meet someone out in California when we were consulting for a Christian school called Biola, which stands for Bible Institute of Los Angeles. I actually had the chance to meet and share a lunch with someone named Vernon McGee, who does Through the Bible.
Sure.
He's got a very distinctive voice. Yes. Today in Leviticus, and radio is just powerful, and it's really taken the gospel to a lot of places, of course, around the world. We also, sadly, I lost a friend. His name was George Wood. He was the longtime general superintendent of the Assemblies of God. And I had the opportunity in a number of settings, including the annual National Religious Broadcasters Convention, which typically is held in Nashville these days at the Opryland Hotel. He saw the Pentecostal denomination to its highest levels of membership and promoted the leadership of both women and minorities. He was the longtime Assemblies of God leader. He died this week at 80. And one of the things that he used to say, and I love this because he was ahead of his time when it came to supporting the strategic role of women in God's kingdom. He said the Holy Spirit called them in light of the prophetic promise of Joel 2:28-30, fulfilled in Acts 2:17 and 18. And he wrote in the Denominations magazine in 2001 in defense of women's ordination within the Assemblies of God. Without almost 100 years of experience, we can say without hesitation that God's calling, equipping, and effectively using women in ministry seemed good to the Holy Spirit and to us. The number of women ministers in the United States Fellowship of the Assemblies of God rose from 19.2 to 24.3% during his tenure. So a friend passes away. He was an iconic leader in the Assemblies of God, and for that we're grateful. Somebody called in.
Keith Price wanted to make sure we mentioned Paul Harvey. Paul Harvey in our commentary about those great icons of radio.
Yes, Paul Harvey, of course. And My Great America with Jim and Butch was actually started with Paul Harvey in mind. So, again, George Wood was a pioneer when it came to celebrating scripturally the role of women in that denomination and in the church. And of course, I have a female pastor, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the way that God uses her each and every day in my life. Now, a quick update also from our friend Pat Jobe. There are more copies of It's About Jesus, It's Not About Max Bergen, stories from an extraordinary career as an Army chaplain, Baptist preacher, and friend to so many. They've reloaded at Smith's Drugs. Okay. So we've got more copies of that book. It's a great book for you to pick up. It also has a little section on Church of the Exceptional. Mm-hmm. And, of course, you've got history there that goes back. And
I reread that book over the weekend during the snow, that book you're talking about. And I was really fascinated again. Of course, I've always been fascinated with Colonel Bergen. And reread that again, and all his accomplishments, all the miracles he says that happened in his life. Of course, Maddie Lackey is a dear friend, too, who works at Church of the Exceptional. She's been at that a long time. and she deserves all the honor and credit she can get.
Well, and you know what? We glorify Jesus in their stories. I want to encourage you, go to Smith's Drugs, get some of that great breakfast or any of the food fare that they have there, and go back in the back and look at the book section. And Pat Jobe, a good friend, tells me that there are more copies of the book there. Again, it's about Jesus. It's not about Max Bergen, and the subtitle, Stories from an Extraordinary Career as an Army Chaplain, Baptist Preacher, and Friend to So Many. And then there's a partial history of the Church of the Exceptional, Maddie Lackey. Those are local legends and people that really honor Jesus in their lives. You know, I was thinking this morning, Jim, children love snow days, but it seems like adults do too. And I lived in Minnesota and Colorado, and the children would not, in Colorado especially, you wouldn't, or in Minnesota, you wouldn't get out of school unless you had probably 7 or 8 inches. Why? Because they were just mobilized with all their equipment. And it seems like here in our county, it's not the same way, right?
That's right. We're not quite equipped for that kind of depth, so we can handle an inch or two, but 7, 8 inches, that's a little bit beyond our capacity to handle.
Right, and you know what's so interesting is over the course of the day, and folks, we got to be careful because my grandfather used to tell me exaggeration is a form of lying. It is. And so early in the day, a few days ago, I was hearing, yeah, we may have 3 to 4 inches. And then I was hearing later in the day, oh, it's going to be 10 to 12. And then I was hearing some people tell me even later in the day, you know what, this is going to be epic, probably the most snow we've ever had in the whole region in 100 years. And I could just sense lots of people, including adults, maybe especially adults, were waiting for their sledding and tobogganing time, or at least not having to go into the office.
It's kind of like those fish we catch. Every time you tell the story about catching fish, they get bigger and bigger, longer and longer.
Yeah, and we need to remember that God sees everything and expects our words to be true. Now, you know, I was thinking, though, about the children in schools that have missed because of COVID, and, of course, a snow day, missing a day or two is not going to do much. But it was reminding me that in the early days of our country, one of the things that made our country great is that our education was forged with the children by things like the New England Primer. And I want to explain to people, the New England Primer was the first published primer between 1688 and 1690. It was done by Benjamin Harris in Boston. It was the first reading primer designed for the American colonies and became the most successful educational textbook published in the early days of the United States history. It was a 90-page work. It contained religious maxims, woodcuts, alphabetical assistance to teach the alphabet to the children, catechisms, and moral lessons. Many of the selections were drawn from the King James Bible. This is what we were teaching children back then when we wanted to teach them the alphabet. Listen to this. The following selection reflects the primer's blend of alphabetical and biblical instruction. A, in Adam's fall, we sinned all. B, heaven defined, the Bible mind. C, Christ crucified, for sinners died. D, the deluge drowned the earth around. E, Elijah hid by ravens fed. F, the judgment made, Felix afraid. G, as runs the glass, our life doth pass. H, my book and heart must never part. J, Job feels the rod, yet blesses God. K, proud Korah's troop was swallowed up. L, Lot fled to Zoar, saw fiery shower on Sodom pour. M, Moses was he who Israel's host led through the sea. N, Noah did view the old world anew. O, young Obadiah's, David, Josiah's, all were pious. P, Peter denied his Lord and cried. Q, Queen Esther sues and saves the Jews. R, young pious Ruth left all for truth. S, young Samuel, dear the Lord did fear. T, young Timothy learnt sin to flee. V, Vashti for pride was set aside. W, whales in the sea, God's voice obey. X, Xerxes did die, and so must I. Y, while youth do cheer, death may be near. And Z, Zacchaeus he did climb the tree, our Lord to see. That's how they taught the children the alphabet.
I like that. I didn't know. I've never seen that before. That's great.
Isn't that something?
It is something.
Yeah. Now who knows the way that we teach the alphabet? And we need to get our children young. It's one of the things that I love about just the training and teaching that our children at Word of Faith Fellowship, the school, the Christian school, get. We teach about the foundings of our nation. We teach about the biblical roots of knowledge. All knowledge comes from God. It doesn't come from somebody that got a PhD. And as somebody that spent far too many years, Jim, in a classroom consuming many books that I wish I'd never read. That's just the truth. You get to my age, and it's like God keeps saying, okay, Butch, we've got that broom closet with all of those theories, all of those presuppositions, all of that analysis. It's like God keeps saying to me, you know what? Let's get rid of this. You don't need this. What you need is the life-giving, scouring truth of God's Word. And Jim, I just find for anybody that says, and we remind people of this, only 11% of people in America read the Bible every day. For anyone that says, what a boring book, I just can't get through it, when you open the pages of the alive and active Word of God that cuts to the quick of every human soul, just ask God to illuminate what's in here. The truths are transforming. They absolutely are.
I've been reading lately the book of Mark again. I love Mark, short chapter, and one of the disciples, followers of Christ, and he talks about some things around the arrest and burial of Jesus that other writers don't write about. So it's interesting to read Mark again and again, over and over.
Well, and we've been talking recently at our church about the fact that life and death are in the power of the tongue. I believe it says that over in James. And I want to say this very clearly. I don't care what political party you're with. I don't care how righteous you believe you may be in prognosticating or analyzing what's happening in America today. There is never an excuse to be cruel or unkind. I don't care who's saying it. I mean, if we're looking at what's happening in America today, I'm disturbed by so many different things. I don't have a legal pad long enough and with empty pages enough to write it all out. But it's never right to attack a person. It's just not right. And I want to say this. It grieves me when people that I agree with politically brandish the sword and bludgeon people by making comments about how big they are, how fat they are, how stupid they are. That is not Jesus. God will not bless us. Bless that at all. And we can't expect that to be the case. And so, I'm all for us pressing with force, but we should never do it in a way that contradicts biblical truth. And, I often tell people, Proverbs 15:4 says, gentle words bring life and health, and a deceitful tongue crushes the spirit. We got to make sure, particularly when you jump into the political realm of debates, you got to make sure that we're not being deceptive. It's one of the reasons why fake news affects everybody. It's not on one side of the aisle or the other. Proverbs 16:24 says, kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body. Proverbs 18:4 says, a person's words can be life-giving water. Words of true wisdom are as refreshing as a bubbling brook. Proverbs 18:21, life and death are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it and indulge it will eat its fruit and bear the consequences of their words. And then we need to remember too, Jim, over in 1 Timothy 2, listen to these verses and ask yourself the question, is there any qualification in these verses? 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. First of all, then, I urge that petitions, specific requests, prayers and intercessions, prayers for others, and thanksgivings be offered on behalf of all people. Verse 2, for kings and all who are in positions of high authority, so that we may live a peaceful and quiet life in all godliness and dignity. Verse 3, this kind of praying is good and acceptable and what? Pleasing in the sight of God our Savior, for who wishes all people to be saved and to come to the knowledge and recognition of the divine truth. It says in Scripture, too, the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord like rivers of water. He turns it however he will. And we've got to be praying even as we're delivering strong truth, got to be praying that God will change some of the hearts of these people.
That's what it's going to take. It's a heart change rather than a mind change necessarily. And we need to pray for leaders that step forward and understand the biblical concept of daily living.
Right. And God is not surprised by anything that is happening in the world. And as a nation that has been reckless in pulling itself away from our biblical foundations and moorings, think it not strange. Think it not strange. It says in the Old Testament, when you sow the wind, you reap the whirlwind. In our unfettered promulgation, being the number one nation in the world for the production of pornography, 62 plus million babies that have been aborted in this nation, being reckless about trying to redefine what a man and a woman and what marriage is. All of these things have consequences. So as a nation, we need to cry out for God to redeem us and to get at the hearts of all of us. And my prayer these days more and more is, let it begin with me. Mm-hmm. Let it begin with me. I cannot make comments about others unless I'm letting God completely reform and change my own heart and life. And I'm painfully aware, Jim, each and every day of all the things that still need to change in me.
All of us could reevaluate our own selves and think. There's a song that we used to sing in church, search me, O God, and know my thoughts today, and make me more like you as they go through life. If we search our own hearts and let God search our hearts, He'll point out some of these things that we need to improve upon.
No question. And of course, that's right. And David was the one, I believe, who said, create in me a clean heart, O Lord my God, and renew a right spirit in me. Cast me not away from thy presence, O Lord. Take not your Holy Spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of my salvation and renew a right spirit in me. That's our prayer every day. You know, we're rounding the end of the program here. I wanted to give you a little announcement. I'm going to let our listeners in and those that are watching on YouTube. By the way, push this program out to other people and hit that subscribe button for WCAB. It's a way that you can become a digital ambassador. To end this morning, I wanted to let you know, it's a quick announcement. We're letting the listeners and viewers know first. You always get this look. I've been talking to Jesse James about the possibility of us creating something that might be like either a Butch Blue Burger or a WCAB Blue Burger, Jim. And it's going to be a burger that has probably lean ground beef, salt and pepper to taste, Duke's mayonnaise, smoked paprika, bakery hamburger buns, lettuce leaves such as baby Boston or bib, sliced tomatoes, thick sliced bacon, and crumbled blue cheese. And let me tell you what's going to be different about this. We'll figure out the name. But we're going to come up with a plan where $1 per burger will be given back to a Back the Blue Lunch Appreciation Fund for the men and women in our county. So basically what we're going to work on creating, probably starting this in late February, creating a fund where if our women and men in uniform pop in there, they'll get a free burger.
I like that.
Yeah, so we're working on that. If you have some ideas, if you think that's a good idea, let us know. But more and more we need to look for practical ways that we can encourage those in our community who serve us each and every day. And we're going to make sure we're a bright light, as you've been for 35 plus years, backing the blue. That's not something new for WCAB. It's something that you've consistently been a voice for. And so be keeping us in prayer and consideration is the folks at Railroad Express. He told me, by the way, that they did win again as Best Burger and Hot Dog.
Good.
Yeah, so we'll be hearing soon from the Daily Courier on all of that. Good. So we've had a lot of this and that today. Jim, remember, the most important thing you'll do today is get in this book and find Jesus worth the knowing.
It's always a pleasure having you with us in My Great America with Jim and Butch.
Thank you, Jim.
Look forward to seeing you Thursday.
I'll see you Thursday.
Before the next snow.
Before the next snow.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.